Thanks for tuning into the channel. Today we're going to be talking about cheap cars that can make you rich. But before we get into it, I'm going to ask for a huge favor. Smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave me some comments down below. Also, if you're a current Toro host or you're thinking about becoming a Toro host, check out the description box. I got a link in there that has everything that I use for Toro that's made my life easier that I think could help you out. So don't forget to check that out. And now let's go ahead and get into the video. Now, you might be wondering, what am I talking about? Cheap cars making you rich. If you are doing Toro or you're thinking about doing Toro, hopefully you want to do it to make a profit, right? Now, there are some people that are doing Toro that just want to offset their payments. There are actually some people on there that are not looking to make a profit, which hurts us that do want to make a profit. And the reason I'm making this video, there's a lot of videos out there talking about really expensive cars, sometimes exotic, luxury, big SUVs, and they talk about the possible going rates on some of these cars. Like, for example, an exotic like a Lamborghini Hurricane or Huracan, that car could be $1,000 a day or more, right? So if you did the math, if you were booking that car a lot, you make a lot of money. Because if you were to buy that car, you can finance that car and pay about $3,000-4,000 a month, which is a lot of money. But if I rented it out for $1,000 a day, right? Even if I just rented it out 10 times out of the month, typically a month has 30 days. If I rented it out 10, that's about $10,000. You take out, 3 or 4 grand, you still got a good chunk of profit and could even rent out more, right? So you're thinking, wow, that's the car I want to get. That's not the case the majority of the time. I know there's some private car rental companies in Vegas that are killing it. In Miami, I believe there's some, and they're just killing it. But the reality is, you have to look where you're from. Here in Florida, in Orlando, I see exotic cars on Toro, and they're not booking that well, right? So if I have a Lamborghini Huracan and I bought it with the purpose to make a profit, and let's say I only rented out one time in the month, I didn't make any money. I'm losing money. And that's just, I'm using this car as an example. If you go and buy Suburban, right? Suburban, if you go on Auto Trader, if you buy that truck brand new, a base, they're about $60,000 and cost you more. Even if you buy a used one, they're expensive, right? And you'll see people say, "Oh, you can rent a Suburban for 150, $200 a day." Go on Toro. Do some basic research. I'm here telling you, you go on Toro, I'll find a Suburban for $70 a day. Some of these rates, if you do the math, you wouldn't make any money. You got to remember, when you buy a car, right? The cars don't go up in value. They go down in value. So when you want to get rid of that car, you have to take that into account. Also, the car is going to need maintenance, right? You're running a risk putting the car on the road. So you want to be rewarded for the risks that you're taking, for taking on this vehicle, for the work you're going to be doing. So you got to do some research. A lot of these cars that people are saying, "Oh yeah, if you get this car, you can rent it for $200 a day." Imagine if it goes out 20 times out of the month. Yeah, if you did those numbers, the numbers would be great. You make a ton of profit. But the majority of times, especially on Toro, that's not going to be the case. A lot of times, if you're buying these expensive cars like an exotic luxury SUVs, you're going to probably not cover the monthly payments. And that's why you see a lot of people that, if you check their profile, they're either new or they haven't been on there long, because a lot of people are getting out. And the reason they're getting out, they're buying cars sometimes just because of a popular Instagram reel they saw, or just somebody on a YouTube channel and they didn't do research. So I always say, do research. I've been doing Toro for a little bit over 2 years. I'm only going based on my experience and from my research. Some of you that may be watching may say, "Hey, you got it wrong." And hey, leave it in the comments. Let us know why you think I'm wrong. But from my research and from doing Toro over 2 years, making a profit, I've seen that the best way to make a profit on Toro is economy cars. And the reason for that is those cars are going to get booked a lot in a month. So, for example, a lot of people ask me sometimes in comments and other videos, well, what cars do you have? I use Toyota Corollas. They hold their value. They're great, reliable cars. I use the Nissan Sentra. To me, again, another great, reliable car that does well resale. So these cars, they last. They're great cars, and I buy them new. I buy them new because they hold their value. They're under warranty. The thing I love about the Toyota Corolla has Toyota Care with 2 years. So the first 2 years, I don't really have to worry about the maintenance. It's 2 years or the mileage. So if you do hit 25,000 miles, before the 2 years, then you lose the service. But it's 2 years or the mileage, whatever comes first. But Toyota Care does that, so I don't have to even worry about the maintenance on the vehicle. And I don't even keep them that long. A lot of people say, well, how do you get rid of a car in a month and not lose, I mean, not in a month, sorry, in 12 months? I retire them in a year. A lot of people want to know, hey, how can you do that? Well, one thing is when I buy the car, okay, when you go to a dealership, a lot of dealership are doing add-ons that you don't need. Remember, you're buying this car to make money. It's not even going to be a car for you. Okay. So if you're buying it to make money, that's not going to be for you. Why do I want window tint? Why do I want a paint protection on the car? Why do I want, all this stuff that they're trying to sell me on the car and they're forcing you, right? I tell them right off the bat, now you have the upper hand because car dealerships are not selling like they used to. Okay, before, back in the pandemic, they tell you got to pay for it or we got someone behind you. Basically, they didn't care to work with you. Now it's not like that anymore. Cars are sitting on the lots longer, inventory's growing. So now you, as the consumer, you actually have some power. Okay, you can go to the dealership and say, hey, I don't want to pay for these protections because I don't need them. And that's my opinion. Okay, I don't get them. Everyone's different. Some people might think, but that's how you end up upside down. Because when you're getting all these protections and you're going in financing, getting extended warranties and all this, it's getting thrown on top of the loan. If you're going to get rid of that car in a year or 2 years, you're most likely not going to need any of those things, but you put it on top of the loan. You're probably going to be upside down. So what I try to do to not be upside down, I do everything I can to get it under MSRP, right? I try to get the best rate possible, and I do it for 72 months or shorter, never longer. I don't do 84 or anything. Okay. I buy cars that hold their value, like the Toyota Corolla, Nissan Sentra. And I look for these cars before I buy them, how they're doing a year old and the used market. So I'll go on CarMax, I go on Auto Trader, right? So right now we're in 2024. I have a 2024 Sentra. Before I buy the car, I'll see, hey, how much is a 2023 Sentra going for with about 20,000 miles? Because I know from my experience that usually around 20,000 miles is what gets put on the car for me, at least in a year. So I like to see what they're going for. And then I take that, and when I go to the dealership, I try to get as close as possible to what I think I'm going to, where it's going to be at in a year. So usually I'll get like $20,000, and this can vary because the market's always changing. These cars go for 22, 23. That's MSRP. I try to get it out the door at 22,023. I know within a year I'll probably owe 19. If I take it to CarMax, usually while I sell the car, they give me 20. I either walked away with some money in my pocket or it's a wash. And really, that's what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to make my money on Toro and walk away as a wash. But the reason I stick to these vehicles is because they're going to get rented a lot. And that's the key to making money when you're doing Toro. You want to buy vehicles that are going to be out for rent, not that are going to be parked. When a car's parked, it's not making you money. And that's a big problem, right? I don't do anything with a nice Suburban clean in my driveway not getting rented. That's not making me any money. I don't do anything with a nice exotic car outside not getting rented. That's not making me any money. Also, if something happened to that fancy SUV or that exotic car, if it's financed, I got to pay for it every month. So that's another reason why I like economy cars. If your payment's $350, it's easier to come up with $350 if the car's out of commission than $1,500 or $3,000 or $900, whatever the car payment happens to be. So I suggest if you're thinking about doing Toro, especially if you haven't started yet, I recommend an economy car. And I recommend, even if you're a host and you're looking to grow your fleet, look for vehicles that you see that are going out a lot. Okay. Now, some of you might say, hey, I have Suburbans, I have Tahoes, I have Expeditions, I have these large cars, and I do well. I'm not saying it's impossible. I know some hosts out there are doing well with exotic cars, luxury cars, large SUVs. But from my research, I've seen that the majority do not. And I've seen you're more likely to make a profit and do better with economy cars. Now, I say this because that's what I've done, and I've done well. I say this based on my research because I have looked into the high-end cars to see if I should add that to my fleet to see if I can make money. And within the 2 years that I've been doing Toro, I have not done that because I just don't see it making me money. And if it's not going to make me money, I don't care to do it. I don't care to buy a car just to offset the payments. I care to buy the car to make money. And then with the money that I make from the car, right, then I'll use that to pay for my personal car. So if you really like a big SUV or a big pickup truck or whatever, or sports car, whatever car you like, if you're making money from your 9 to 5 and you're doing Toro as your side hustle, use your income to buy yourself a nice car to enjoy personally. But when you're doing this to make money, focus on the cars that are going to get booked a lot. Okay. And one easy way is going on the Toro website. Look at that car that you're thinking about getting. See in your area how many people have that car. Check their calendars for that current month. How many lines do you see on the dates? Because that's an indicator that's going out. Look at their trips. Look at their comments. If you're seeing recent comments, if you're seeing high trips, if you're looking at the calendar and you're seeing a lot of lines through the numbers, those are good indicators that that car is performing well in your area. And maybe in your area, there might be a demand for those type of cars. But if you also check economy cars, you're going to see most likely that they're always doing well. Because let's face it, if the economy is not doing great, what are people going to book when they need a car? Economy. Usually people are going to book. The majority of times, economy is going to be the most booked. And the reason for that, that's going to be the largest, the majority of people when they're booking cars are looking for the best deal. Now, yes, I understand that there are people when they rent a car, they'll rent an exotic or they'll rent a big SUV because money's not an issue. But that's a certain demographic, and that's not a large percentage of people. I'd rather focus on a larger percentage of people because that's going to help keep my cars on the road and me not being worried, well, hey, did I get my car booked? Because let's face it, in whatever area you want to go in, the luxury side, the SUV side, whatever, pickup truck, whatever you want to go in, you're going to have competition. And if the percentage of people booking those type of cars is not that high, there's a greater chance of you not doing well and not making a profit. I rather reduce my risk by reaching to a larger number of people, and that's going to be economy cars. And that's why I said economy cars will make you rich, because these cars are the ones that are going to get booked, at least for me. Now, maybe there's somebody out there that has an economy car and is not doing well for them. And if that was the case, my opinion is look at your pricing, look in your area, because for economy cars not to be doing well, most likely you're pricing them too high. There must be something that you're doing that you're not getting booking. So I will look at pricing first, look at your pictures, look at, make sure you're being competitive in your area. Maybe adding deliveries would help. So these could be some of the reasons also why you're not booking if you had an economy car not doing well. Because in my opinion, based on me, I'm doing well with economy cars. Now, I always say do your research, because I could do well with something and you may not do well with it, but I'm sharing my experience. And I believe this is going to be one of the better options for a lot of you that are thinking about doing Toro, or if you're thinking about expanding your fleet. But I'd love to know in the comments below if this helped you out, what you think. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and don't forget to check out that description box. Everything that I use for Toro is on there, so I think it really will help you out. Also, I started a new YouTube channel. I'm a car guy. I really like cars, so I like to go to the Cars and Coffee when I have an opportunity. I like to get cool videos of the nice cars out there, if they're doing a burnout, the exhaust, or if it's just, caught my attention because of the styling of the car. So I'm putting reels of the cool cars I catch on Instagram. If you like to see those videos and show me some support, I really appreciate some follows on Instagram. So thanks for watching. See you on the next one.